What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another day with Luciano Martinez with Remax. I just want to do another video today, just kind of like informing the general people, the general public, any future clients of mine, any future clients of any other agent. Times change, certain things happened. One of the things I want to talk to you about today is, do you or do you not need to um, pay buyer's agent's commission? Now, the reason I start off with that question is because a lot of agents, a lot of us agents try to, not scare buyers away. And the truth of the matter is, it's important for you as a client to understand that we're going to ask you to sign what we call a buyer rep agreement. Okay. What is a buyer rep agreement? A buyer rep agreement is an agreement between you, the buyer, and me, the agent, or any other agent. Um, and it's a document that states that I'm going to represent you, and you are going to be my client for XYZ time. And we're gonna work with each other for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever amount of time that you and your agent or you and me decide to work together for. If you want to try me out for a month or you want to try me out for 2 months, that's fine. We can go from there and decide that maybe we need to go to 3 months or 4 months if we haven't found your home, or if you're not liking my services, then we can go ahead and talk about terminating, right? And there is a termination document. If for whatever reason you get into a 6 months agreement with your agent or with me, just usually talk to your agent. Hey, I don't think this is gonna work out with you and me. I think it's time for us to terminate. But it's super important because you want to make sure you're represented. Now, let me back up a little bit. What do you mean, Luciano? What do you mean that I'm not being represented? Okay. So if you and I don't sign this agreement that says that I'm your agent, then I'm technically working for the seller, right? That's what that means. I'm not necessarily your agent. I mean, there's like an implied um, agreement that between you and me that I am representing you, but there's no document that says that I am actually representing you, and I'm sort of kind of working for the seller. I'm become what we call a sub agent. So that's kind of like the difference, right? And so just want to make sure that we understand the importance of signing a buyer rep agreement. Now, that being said, something to think about. I got a couple of just past week I had a lead sign up on my website, and the lead said, asked me straight up, point blank, "Hey, Luciano, are you the listing agent for so and so property?" And I was like, "No, I'm not the listing agent, but I would gladly and happily like to represent you in the transaction." And he responds with, "No, I just want to hit up the listing agent." And I understand where he's coming from. I think he's thinking, I don't want to pay a buyer's agent commission. And I'll come back to the buyer's agent commission a little bit. But think about this. If you're a buyer and you're gonna go and talk to the listing agent is working for the seller. The listing agent is not working for the buyer. So yes, you can, and by all means, if that's what you want to do as a buyer, you want to just talk to the listing agent, just putting your offer that way. By all means, go for it. But keep in mind that the listing agent is strictly working or representing the seller. So if that's something that the buyer or you want to do, then by all means go for it. But if you want representation, let the buyer's agent take care of you. That's where we come in as a buyer's agent. We'll take care of you, we'll represent you. Now, sign the buyer agent agreement. Sign it because that protects you as the buyer, and it protects the agent as your agent. Okay, so sign the buyer agent agreement. Take care of yourself, take care of your agent. In that sense, we'll take care of each other. Now, why is that important too? Check this out. If I'm the listing agent for home XYZ, okay, and you as a buyer want to go see home ABC. Sign the buyer agent agreement with me. Cool beans. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna go show you home ABC. Now, the problem that we may have is if you, buyer, decide that you want to come and see home XYZ, you need to understand as a buyer that I'm already representing the seller. But you and me have a buyer's agent agreement. And this is we're gonna have to probably refer you out to somebody in the office, and that's okay. You know, we'll still figure out a compensation at a later time. But you and I have an agreement. In order to best represent you, what's going to have to happen? All right, refer you out to the agent because I cannot represent the buyer and the seller for the same transaction. Okay, you know what I mean? So those are just things to consider. Going back to the buyer's agent rep. I'm representing you on a listing that's not mine. Okay, I have fiduciary responsibilities. You know, and you can check out my blog here below. And if you have any questions, reach out. I would love to talk to you about all of this. But I as your agent would have buyers a fiduciary responsibility to best represent you, right? And negotiate on your behalf and talk to the listing agent and try to convince them to lower the price or whatever the situation may be. But my interest is your interest because I'm trying to best represent you as best as possible. Now, Luciano, what about compensation? This is important, and you can read through the sample. You can just click on the picture here, the picture below on my blog, and you can get a sample PDF. The parties are you and me, or you and the broker, right? A couple of definitions there. But Luciano, how much do I have to pay you? Okay, and this part right here where it says intermediary, um, read that carefully with your agent. If that what that means is if the office has a listing and we're in the same office and you like a certain listing, that just means I represent you as the buyer. And this is what I was saying. If I have a particular listing XYZ and I already have a buyer's a rep agreement with you, I'll just refer you out to somebody in the office and they'll take care of you as best as they can, right? But anyways, going back over here to Luciano, what about compensation? How do I pay you? All right, or what do I have to pay you? So this is where it gets fun and it becomes your agent has to talk to you and you have to talk to your agent. Come up with a agreed upon price. Right? Agent's going to charge. Now, right here, source of commission. This is the important part right here. This is the whole reason why I wanted to do this video because a lot of buyers get scared about the commission. I don't want to sign a buyer rep agreement because I don't want to pay the agent. Blah 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 blah. All right. Source of commission payments. The broker will seek to obtain payment of the commission specified in paragraph 11A, which is this particular paragraph, from the landlord, the seller, or their agents. If such persons refuse or fail to pay the broker the amount specified, the client will pay broker the amount specified less any amounts broker receives from the such persons. So let's just say me and you get crazy right here, right? I'm asking you for a 3% commission fee. Cool. And the seller is offering 1%. Then you, the buyer, would probably be responsible for 2%. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, if the seller's offering 3%, then you don't have to worry about paying me. They're going to take care of it. Right. So that's what that paragraph means. If such persons refuse or fail to pay the broker the amount specified, client will pay broker the amount specified less any amounts the broker receives from those people. Luciano, what happens if they're paying 4%? You're still only responsible for 3%. Don't even worry about it. They're gonna give me extra. Fantastic, right? So that's what I'm talking about. A lot of buyers, they get very, very, very skittish or scared or don't want to sign this buyer rep agreement. But I suggest and I strongly recommend. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. Feel free to reach out because it's important to represent you as best as possible. And to talk, I don't charge. I don't think any buyer's agent or seller's agent charges just to talk. We want to try and gain your trust. We want to try and and make you feel comfortable. At least I do. I would like for all my clients to feel as comfortable as possible with me. And I think for the most part, most people do feel comfortable with me. But it's super important that you as the buyer understand that we're going to try our best to best represent you, to two, get compensated from the seller, the landlord, the listing agent, from somebody. And then if there's any extra that may need to be talked about, where, for example, like I said, 3% versus them paying out 2.5%, then you're only going to be responsible for 0.5%. Again, this is something you have to talk to your agent about. What is he charging you, or what is he going to charge overall? So those are all things to consider. And in this particular agreement, it talks about, when does this agreement start? When does this agreement end? So right here where it says term, this agreement starts today, ends in 1 month. Or this agreement starts today, ends tomorrow. If you want to go see some houses, that's another thing. If you want to go see a house tomorrow, but I don't represent you, sign this for a day. Sign this for one day. Hey, Luciano, I only want you to see, I want to see one house. I only want you to represent me for one day because I want to go see this house. I saw it on the internet. I saw it on Zillow. Don't use Zillow, by the way. Saw it on Zillow, and I want you to go show it to me. Okay, we'll sign it for one day. We'll make the agreements, and I'll let you know, hey, this, da, 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 da. These are the terms. We'll go see the house. You want me to place an offer? Great. Not, then it was only for an agreement for a day, and that's okay. Not a big deal, right? And then it talks about all your client's obligations. Like, what does the client have to do? So here's the thing: if you sign this with me, you're working exclusively with me. Don't go and talk to another buyer's agent. Same thing with brokers. Broker will use broker's best efforts to assist the client in acquiring property in the market, assist the client in negotiating the acquisition of the property in the market area, and comply with any of the provisions in this agreement. Talk to your agent. I cannot stress that enough. There's gotta be open communication with your agent. Even if you're on the selling side, if you're the listing, the listing agent. Scott, sorry, I had a phone call. If you're the listing agent and you're working with the seller, or the seller's working with a listing agent, have open communication. Have open communication with your agent. That's what all of this is about. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Make sure everybody's on the right page, same page. Everybody's working together. Let me see if I can go get any more information from this before I let you guys go. Protection period. Now, protection period is important because here's what the thing: if we only did this for one day, for example, I signed the buyer's rep agreement for one day, and I go show you a house, and I'm protected for 15 days. What that means is I showed you house A, right? And obviously our agreement is over because it was only for one day. But come 5 days from the day that I showed you the house, you decide to put an offer on that house. Now we're I showed you that house. You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about there. I have 15 days in that protection period. And then mediation. It's always just best to communicate. Let me see what else I can come up with. This part right here, information about brokerage services. It's the first thing that we have to give you as a client. We have to give you something called the IABS, information about brokerage services. What do we offer? What do we do as agents? What is intermediary status? What is intermediary status? What is non-intermediary status? What is a broker? What is a real estate sales agent? But anyways, I made this video long enough. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always reach out to me. My number is 956-862-1556. We can also call me to my other number, 956-476-2925. You have a wonderful day.